What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets Action Network's daily NBA betting podcast. We're in the workshop Wednesday, NBA slate. So you know I got my guy with me. Jay Money is Money. You know the man. Go subscribe to his YouTube page, NBA Talk with Jay, for daily breakdowns of the NBA slate. I am your host, Sean Little. We are recording this live from our Tommy John home studios. Bunch of games on the slate. Let's jump right into it. You know how we get down. But first, go download the Action Network app. Go subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. Tons of Super Bowl stuff coming out. College basketball is rolling. If you watch the Duke game, in a matter of 3 possessions, a kid threw up on the floor. Someone in the crowd passed out. There's guys grabbing people's legs before they fall out of bounds. I mean, only stuff you see in college basketball. We break it all down on the Action Network. You know how we do. We get the play, we get the cap, we get you guys out of here. J Money is Money. Give me your best bet for the Wednesday NBA slate.
Give me the Wizards, team total under 112.5.
I'm going to go with the Knicks-Nuggets under 239.5, minus 110 in the market. No number yet. Miles Bridges, 25-plus points over his point total. As soon as I see a number, I really like him to score 25-plus points. We'll talk about it. No official because I don't have a number, but Miles Bridges to put up 25 or more. J Money, before you hopped on, you said the Wizards are a poor basketball team. Why are you pinpointing the team total here? Talk to me.
Yeah, honestly, it's not even really the Wizards, to be honest with you, because obviously they run a high pace. Now, this team total is at 112.5. They're 8-2 to the under of this number in their last 10 games. They've only scored more than 112. They've only scored 113 or more in 2 games, and that was 114 versus the Warriors, 123 versus the Suns. This is mainly a play on the Toronto Raptors, but I can't lay 6.5, 7 points with them on the road. But you look at this Raptors team, man, they've been absolutely dominating on the defensive end. They have won 4 straight games. They've won 6 of their last 7 games and covered 6 of their last 7 as well. They've held teams under this team total as well in 5 of those 7 games as well, man. So don't look now, but the Raptors are starting to play some really great basketball. We've saw stretches of this last year as well where their coach had the team actually playing really well and really sticky defense. Number 2 defensive rated team over the last 5 games, man. Raptors are really locking down. They just did it to the Pelicans as well, held them to 104, even though Zion went absolutely crazy, man. So I like the Raptors defense to keep playing defense here. 112.5 is a little too high for this Wizards team who don't really do anything well, shoot the ball well, score in the paint, anything, man. So this is one that's pretty much a bet on the Raptors defense to continue playing and locking up how they've been doing lately. Like I said, number 2 defense over the last 5 games. And I think it even goes back further than that. You could probably even go back to the last 7 games. The Raptors have been one of the best defense in the league as of late, and I think they keep it going here. So I'll go with Wizards team total under 112.5.
Toronto Raptors probably one of the most interesting teams in the NBA. If you're really digging in on a night-to-night, it seems like there's always an angle you can play on the Toronto Raptors. They play extremely hard at the crib. Go look at the ATS numbers there. They're performing in a lot of different ways higher than people realize just because their straight-up record is so poor. Washington at the crib, I mean, I got no real opinion on the Wizards, man. I don't know what's going on over there. I guess in Toronto, at least they show some spurts of putting some really good games together. They have a couple quality wins on the year. I can't say the same about the Washington Wizards. You gonna watch this one, Jay?
What I need to watch it for? I just need to cash. I just need to cash that ticket, man. You know?
I feel you. J Money got in the lab, found the play. Now you just wait to cash the ticket. This is not one of those you sit down and sweat. You do your homework, you do the hard work, and then you go ahead and check the box score and hope you got a dub. You know what's something I've been doing? So you know how when you play something and you don't watch it and you like end up opening an app to check the score? And it's a little nerve-wracking. It's a little nerve-wracking to like open up the box and like wait for it to load up to see. So what I've been doing, I was betting a bunch of Australian Open tennis Like when I would go to sleep and I would get up and I would come out and I'll start, getting my day rolling and getting some coffee. I just ask Siri what happened. Like, hey
Yeah.
Siri, or I'll ask like Alexa, like, hey Alexa, what's the score of the Wizards Raptors game last night?
Okay.
It'll come up and tell me. So that's what I've been doing instead of just opening up, going to the apps or checking box scores from different spots. But
Sean,
yeah, talk to
I'm
me.
a little weird. Obviously, like I'll have a lot of stuff to do, man. Basketball practice, like I'll be I'll be doing all type of stuff. Driving, like I'm driving a bunch. I'll have the Action Network app, and I'll be checking the score of the game, pretty much the whole game. Not from start to finish, but I'll be checking it routinely. So even if I'm not watching it, I'm still up to date on the score. So that's just something I'd like to do. So even when I'm not watching it, I'm checking the Action Network app. Like I'm refreshing that thing, like clockwork, man. So that's just something a little weird about me. For like sometimes I just won't have a ton of time in my hands just to sit down and watch games. Got kids, all type of stuff, but I'm in that Action Network app and I'm checking the box scores just as well as I would if I was watching the game.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's different styles for different people,
Yep.
but yeah, you do the hard work, and then as you decide to print, and it's out of your control after that, really. So sometimes
Exactly.
it's even better off not watching it. I
Facts.
know. Shout out our guy Joe Delara. He showed me. I didn't know you could do this. You could lock, like on Action Network or even on DraftKings. I believe I saw it. You could lock whatever game you're tracking on your lock
Yep.
screen, so it'll be
Yep.
up there, and it'll even go to the top of the screen. All types of different features on the Action Network app. Go lock in. Go check them all out. We're here to make your betting life easier. All right, let's talk Knicks Nugs, and then we'll also talk Bulls Celtics. Couple thoughts there, and then we'll get into the Bridges cap. Some interesting games on the slate. I was really hoping I got a number in that Boston Bulls game, but it just never flashed. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk Knicks Nuggets first here. I'm going under 239.5 minus 110. Soon as this opened Tuesday night, it was 243.5 and pretty quickly got bet down to 239.5. I have this closer to 236.5. I like this spot for both of these teams coming, especially the Knicks, coming off huge offensive games. I think this number is a little inflated. Going into the game against Memphis, it was the first game of the year the New York Knicks had a game total in the 240s. The previous high was 238 versus the Bulls and the Hawks. Bulls game went over, Hawks game went way under. And they were playing a Memphis team that was number one in pace, number two in points in the paint. And then they were vulnerable, very vulnerable, which the Knicks absolutely exploited their transition defense. Memphis likes to run, but doesn't like to get back.
Yeah.
And their transition D is a big issue. And I mean, it was a party at Madison Square Garden on Monday night. Deuce was dunking on people. Precious Achua was step through and euroing, catching lobs, dunking. He was going crazy. And they're vulnerable in the paint. The Memphis Grizzlies, they were 18th in the paint. So Knicks impacted in both spots there. But Jay, if you would have told me the New York Knicks would score 143 points and Karl Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson wouldn't have scored 25, I would have called you a liar, flat out. But what I'm getting at is I don't think they can produce that offensive juggernaut again, especially coming against a team in the Nuggets where they're going to have some big responsibilities on defense and they're going to have to focus and slow those guys down as well. Let's take a look at it. OG had 15. Mikal Bridges was 12 of 19, had 28 points. Precious Achua had 14 points. He was 6 of 9 from the floor, was creating. Deuce and Cam Payne, Deuce McBride and Cam Payne combined for 25 points. Landry Shamet knocked down a couple threes. Everybody was scoring for the New York Knicks. I don't think they can produce that again. And if you go back even the game prior, they put up a huge number against the Kings, 143. But they were coming off 2 full days of rest, which they desperately needed. They were able to get that. Yeah, 3 full days of rest. They got that. They came out, and that was a really good spot to bet them versus a Kings team that was playing a little bit over their head. The Doug Christie love was that fever pitch. That number was like 2.5, 3, J Money. So I hope some people caught the Knicks in that spot. But if you go back to that game versus the Nets in Brooklyn, they didn't break 100. If you go back to the W versus the Atlanta Hawks in Madison Square Garden, it was 119-110. Then they lost. They didn't break 100 versus the Timberwolves. No cat in that game. But what I'm getting at is I think these last two games have been a little bit of an anomaly. 3 days coming off a rest, and then they caught a Grizzlies team that they just absolutely killed in transition and just ran out of the building. They smothered John Morant. He had absolutely no answer for them at any point in the game. I think this game is going to be a lot slower than that Memphis game, of course. This game is going to be a lot more just different possessions that are going to be played in the half court. And the Cat Jokic combo is going to be something I can't wait to watch and see. I'm interested to see. I think also Denver will be able to attack Jalen Brunson with a few other people and make Mikal Bridges and OG continue to put up on offense. And I don't trust that if we're talking about a number that's pushing 240. 239.5 is too high for a matchup. And I think the number is inflated because of them putting up 140 back to back and putting 140 on the Knicks in that game, 145, 118 last time out. So there's the revenge angle for the Denver Nuggets that they're going to be able to try to get some revenge against the Knicks, show up in a major way. I think that brings the total down. Also, game is on national TV, ESPN game. It's in the Garden. It's going to be rocking. I think that brings the number down as well. I just think this is a lot more competitive and less free-flowing than the last couple of games from the Knicks. And the market is already flowing that way. I like under 239.5. J Money, talk to me.
Yeah, I can't talk you off. And I think that the Nuggets play at a much slower pace as well, if I'm not mistaken. That obviously, because I mean, you look at the Kings and the Grizzlies; they're two of the fastest paced teams in the last 5 games. The Nuggets are sitting at number 7, but I still feel like generally they are a little bit more of a slower team. I know since Westbrook's in the start lineup, they play a little bit faster, but there's a lot of things unfold here. One thing I have to say, like, we're not really talking about like John Morant. Kind of, I know he's had some injuries and stuff, but we're not really talking about him not producing lately and kind of sort of falling off of a cliff, man. His plus minus was negative 41 in that game, man. Absolutely bonkers. Minus 41 plus minus. So I had to say. But one other thing, OG has been playing really well, man. I'd actually look at OG props here. I know I cashed with his over 21.5 PRA in the last game, and he got it with points, but he also added in 5 rebounds and 4 assists. OG Anunoby is playing some really great basketball. Remember, Tibbs run these guys into the ground. When you have 3 days off and you're a Knicks player, that's like 2 weeks off, man, to them. You see what I'm saying? Like 3 days off was like a mini vacation for them boys. OG came out, I think that game he had 33 points. And even the last game, he didn't shoot as well from the field, only went 5 for 12, but still had 15 points. He's doing a little bit of everything. So I think people forget OG gets paid the most amount of money on the New York Knicks. He has to show production over there. So one thing that I don't think I don't think that is anomaly with the Knicks is with everyone scoring such a balanced effort. I think this is the Knicks, man. They don't need to be Cat or Brunson going for 25, 30 every night. They need to spread the love. They need OG to get into the scoring. They need Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. They need these guys, McBride, Campaign. They're going to need their production when they get into the playoffs. I think the Knicks are one of the most offensively, defensively balanced teams in the league. They're finally starting to show it. But if we look at this game, the fact that they've put up over 140 points in their last couple games, and the fact that you throw in that the Nuggets have major revenge in this one. They're coming off back-to-back games. This is a little bit worrisome. They're coming off giving 133 to the Wolves and then 129 versus the Bulls, which you can't do. You can't do that. So with this, they were probably looking ahead to this game. This is a huge game, obviously, Sean. And obviously, coming, like I say, 2 back-to-back losses. They have revenge. They better play some defense here because the Knicks, you know what I'm saying, if they don't play the defense, try to slow them down, they can mess around and get smacked up here once again. But I do like your look here on the under. I'll probably tell you on this one. And the pros, you know how they do it. As soon as the total come out, they're gonna hop on it. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that this has already went down with 3.5
4 points, yeah,
4 points. The pros, the people that bet totals for a living and have projections and all that stuff, they bet the under and probably smashing the under. It hadn't even made it to the next day, and they're already smashing it. So someone really likes the under in this one. I think the Nuggets try to slow the pace down a little bit, play a lot more methodical basketball, and I think you have a really great chance to cash your under 239.5. I'll probably end up telling you on this one, my brother.
Let's go, J Money. Third game in 5 days. This will be now for the Knicks kind of back to regular scheduled programming. I think it just slows down quite a bit. They've been absolutely blistering. They have been getting some guys some rest because they haven't been playing too late into the fourth, but I do like this game to go under 239.5 is a touch too high. All right, let's talk Miles Bridges. And this is purely on the fact that the Hornets just don't have any bodies that are willing to put up the volume that it's going to be necessary to score in this game. The total, as we record this Tuesday night, sits at 205.5. If you read the injury report for this game, I mean, they might as well put this on the blackout list. Go ahead and play Law and Order. Go ahead and get the SVU rolling, TMZ, whatever you want to throw in this slide. There's no reason to watch this basketball game. Listen to this injury report.
Oh, boy.
So for the Nets, no DeAnthony Melton, no Cam Thomas, no Whitehead, no Cam Johnson. Hornets, no LaMelo Ball, no Josh Green, no Trey Mann, still out. No Brandon Miller, still out. Grant Williams, still out. Now Mark Williams is going to be out. So of guys that played in their last game, Mark Williams played, Josh Green played, LaMelo Ball played. All those guys are now going to be out. LaMelo Ball went out last game, 9 minutes in. The only guy the rest of the game that was willing to put up shots was Miles Bridges. I went back and watched it earlier today. He had 23 attempts. He's the only guy that's going to be able to score for them. His point prop in that last game coming in was 19.5. It has, if I had to guess, it would open at like 23.5, 24.5 potentially. I think Bridges scores 25 plus. I wish I had a number. I don't like to give out officials without a number because essentially if it comes out 26.5 or something crazy, I wouldn't be playing that. But depending on what it checks, I do like Miles Bridges to score 25 points in this game just because flat out he might get up 26 or 27 shots in this particular matchup. So, and also it's just not a serious game. Nets-Hornets, I think Miles Bridges is not the most serious guy either. I think he's going to try to go ahead and go up and get his looks. I like Miles to score 25. Any thoughts on that? And then we can move over to the Bulls-Celtics just for a quick chat.
I mean, you guys know I do a show on YouTube. I try to talk about every game. I will not be speaking of either one of these teams. Neither one of these teams want to win this game, man. So I hope you cash on that. Yeah, he had 23 field goal attempts in last game. I mean, without LaMelo Ball, that's only going to go up. He might have 30 field goal attempts in this one. You should cash that 25 plus, my guy.
All right, let's talk Bulls-Celtics because I could not wait to see a number hit the board and the screen. I was waiting for it to light up with this Bulls-Celtics number because Celtics have lost 4 of 5 at the crib. J Money, as soon as 2 months ago, preseason, I gave out Celtics on buckets. Celtics under 58.5 wins. About 2 months ago, you could get a live total on the Celtics under 60.5 wins. I was able to double dip and bang that there. They've been struggling. They've been 500 about the last 20 games, lost 4 or 5 at the crib. And this is just a prime spot for them to get right and try to show out here and put up a big number on a team that's high pace in the Bulls that doesn't play any defense. Tatum is someone you got to look out here on the injury report. Currently questionable with a right knee. Horford questionable. Zach LaVine
is out.
For sure. Personal reasons. Kobe White is questionable, so keep an eye on that. That's also why I think the overall game total is a touch shaky because if you remove Zach LaVine and Kobe, those are just guys that are going to be able to that are doing the heavy lifting offensively. But I was praying, Jay, that I got like a 121.5 to flash on the Celtics team total, and I was going over all day. When they played the Hawks last week, the Celtics team total was 123.5 minus 115. That went under. When they played the Bulls at home 12-19, the team total closed at 128.5.
Damn.
Total 246.5. It ended up closing at 240.5 and still went under. I was praying we got like a 120, 121.5 in this team total. I would have taken the over. What do you think is going on with the Celtics, man? Is it just they're trying to get to the All-Star break, little midseason blues? We got the chip. We'll let these guys that got something to prove, like the Houston Rockets and the Thunder, we'll let the young boys run around and have fun, and then we'll see y'all in the playoffs. Is that what's going on? What do you think?
I mean, the Celtics don't care right now for what? I mean, if you look at it, they're sleepwalking. This is how good they are. They're sleepwalking through the season. Don't care about games. You're still sitting at 32-15. Like, it's crazy. But for us bettors, like I tried to tell my guys, man, I was on the show with my guy the other day. It was like he was on the Celtics. I was like, the Rockets are going to play this game like a playoff game. The Celtics are not. They do not care about these games. And after a win, they're second worst in the league. 6-24 against, well, now 6-25 against the spread. Like, sometimes you just got to follow the patterns. But I can't say, coming off a loss, there's still some of those guys. Second best in the league, 11-3 against the spread. So, as I always say, sometimes the trends really can be your friend, man. Like, it's a pattern. And these teams tell you who they are. After a win, they don't care. But when they lose, now they usually bounce back. It's a few too many points, and the Bulls have been playing over their head all season. Now they're starting to get back to the point where this is the Bulls team that I know. I know that's kind of your squad, Sean, but like this team, this is the team they're expected to be one of the bottom three teams in the East this year. So they're playing a lot better, sitting at 20-27, only 3-7 straight up last 10 games, coming off of a big win versus the Nuggets. They probably get smoked in this game, man. I probably would rather just a full game over. Because like the Celtics team total over, but I want to take Bulls team total under here. I don't even think that I think that they might struggle to get to 100 points. I know their team total sitting at 108.5. The Celtics team, I know they might come out here and try to like really lock them down and play defense. I don't think that the Bulls could possibly touch 100 points, but you can still get to where it's like 135 to 100 or something like that. I think the Celtics just absolutely put the hammer down on them, but we don't think that Tatum's going to play. Both, whatever you like with the Celtics, you're going to get a better number. Team total, the full game total, whatever, the spread, whatever you like. If Tatum's ruled out, you're going to get a much better number. But as long as you still got as long as you still have everyone else in there, Porzingis, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, they have all the tools to blow this Bulls team out. Coming off a bounce back, they're in a bounce back spot at the house, coming off of a tough loss. I think they led by like 12 points or something like that, Sean, with like 10 minutes to go and ended up losing that game, man. So I like the Rockets there. Didn't surprise me one bit, but the Bulls do not have near the defense that the Rockets do. I think the Celtics do whatever the hell they want in this game.
Yeah, it's just a very, very good spot for them to show up in a major way, especially if Tatum shows up. I mean, this is a spot where they could hang 130 points on Chicago. So we don't have I gotta wait for Tatum. If Tatum goes, I might really consider taking the team total over 123.5, 124.5. Get the best number you can. We mentioned at the top of the show that we're coming to you from our Tommy John home studios, and that's because great games start with great underwear, and Tommy John makes the greatest. I got some Tommy John stuff, man. It's tough, works well, it's comfortable, flexible. From underwear to shirts to pajamas, all of it is grade A. You got to go pick some up if you get a chance. Remember, when you're truly comfortable, you do everything better, and that includes betting. So if you love buckets, Jay Money, Sean Little, you'll love Tommy John. Get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/buckets. That's 25% at TommyJohn.com/buckets. And since we're talking Tommy John, let's get into the Tommy John Ballsy parlay. You know we're not parlay guys, but we threw a little extra play in here to add it. Let's go, Wiz. Team total under 112.5, under 239 in Knicks-Nuggets. And then Bulls-Celtics, let's go team total over 123.5, 124.5. Get the best number you can. That's plus right around 585, 595 in the market, depending on where you put it together. Also, if you want to add Miles Bridges 20 plus as a little sweetener, 25 plus, I think he is legitimately on offense the only guy that's going to be willing to put up the shots necessary to score a bunch of points with all of those guys off the floor for the Charlotte Hornets. To recap on the straights, though, J Money is Money Wizards. Team total under 112.5. I'm on Knicks-Nuggets under 239.5. Look for a good number on Miles Bridges. I like him to score a bunch of points as well. For J Money is Money, I am your host, Sean Little. Go subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. Go follow my guy on Twitter at NBA Talk with Jay. I'm Chicago Flow across the board, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere else. Also, if you want to quickly lock in the plays that we laid out tonight, click on the quick slip links. They're in the podcast description. You could tail us straight away from there. Just click on it. It'll automatically load into wherever you want to lock it in at. For J Money is Money, I'm your host, Sean Little. Until next time, which is tomorrow, let's get buckets, baby.